So in this video, we're having a look at doing the microbit Minds on 3 activity. So we're going to be looking at creating a code to measure temperature, and then we're also going to be looking at creating a code that will measure temperature, relative humidity, and carbon dioxide. So we're going to start by creating a new project. And in this new project, we can get rid of our start button, so we can delete this block, and we can get rid of the forever block. We're not going to need those. So we're going to start by using the input, and we're going to go on button A, and we are going to add a variable, and this variable is going to be microbit temperature. So we're going to call it microbit temp. Okay, and so we're going to add our set microbit temp to our temperature. So we're going to go back to our input, and from our input we're going to choose temperature, and that's going to go into where we're going to set our microbit temperature to be our temperature in degrees Celsius. Then we want to be able to show the temperature, so we're going to use show number, and then we're going to add our variable of microbit temperature in there. And after it shows the temperature, we're going to have the microbit pause for a second, and then I want the clear screen. Okay, so if we try this out on our microbit, when we press button A, it's going to show us the temperature on the microbit. It's 21 degrees, and then it's going to go to that clear screen. So it's going to be up there for a second, and then it's going to go to that clear screen. And again, if we press A, it's going to have 21 degrees Celsius up there. Okay, so then we just want to add our show string. We want to type our name in there. Okay, and then we'll want to take a screenshot of this to add to our assignment. Okay, so then we are going to create now a new coding, and then in this new coding, we are going to set our microbit to record not only our temperature, but also our percent humidity and our amount of carbon dioxide. And so we're actually just going to go back to the home page, and we want to click on a brand new project. So we're going to do a new project. Okay. Now for this project, we need a couple of very specific things. And so we actually want to click on our little gear wheel here, and we want to add an extension. So we're going to click on extensions, and we're going to search for the Cozer extension. Okay, and so this is the Cozer extension. We're going to add it, and when that happens, this section here should have popped up, the Let's Talk Science section. That's what we want to have in our menu. Okay. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to set up this code so that it will work when we actually are able to connect our microbits. And to do that, we need to attach something specific that's going to allow us to code our actual microbit so that we know where we're going to be pulling temperature from, where we're going to be pulling the percent humidity from, and where we're going to be pulling the carbon dioxide sensor from. And so we're going to get rid of these first blocks. We don't need our start block or our forever block. Instead, we're going to click on to advanced, and we want to go all the way down to this serial section. Okay, and in the serial section, we actually want this serial redirect. Okay, and so we want to keep all of these the same. So we want it to say serial redirect to oh, I'm sorry, we want that in an on start. Hold on, we need an on start block. There we go, that's better. All right, so we want the serial to redirect to TXPO RXP1, and that's fine. The only thing that we want to change in this serial box is we want to change it to 9600 as our rate. Okay, all right, so now we want to include things that are going to happen on button presses. So we are going to have on button A, we're going to have on button B, and then we're also going to have when we press button AB. Okay, so on button A, we're going to put our carbon dioxide. So for button A, we're going to have show our number. And we are going to add some mass here. And so we're going to have that number rounded. So we want this round button. And we're going to add our carbon dioxide. And so our CO2 is going to be in the Let's Talk Science section. And we want that CO2 to look in here. So we want show number. We're going to round, and we're going to have the carbon dioxide is what we're going to measure. Okay. Then we're going to add a show string. And in our show string, we want to type ppm. This is the unit for our carbon dioxide detector. Okay, so that's going to be our carbon dioxide. Now on button B, we want to be able to show our temperature. So again, we want our show number. And we want to include a round because we want it to round to the nearest whole number. And in the Let's Talk Science, we're going to add our temperature. Okay, and then we want to include our show string. And in this case, our string is going to be a capital C because our temperature is rounded, or our temperature is measured in degrees Celsius. Then for our button A plus B, we're going to add our percent relative humidity. So we're going to include our show number, and we're going to round it again to the nearest whole number. And we're going to go back to our Let's Talk Science, and we're going to put relative humidity in there. Okay, and then we again want our show string. Only this time our relative humidity is measured in percent RH. And so we're going to leave that as our percent RH. All right, so we've got on button B, we're showing the temperature in degrees Celsius. On button A, we're showing carbon dioxide in ppm. And if we press button A and B together, we're showing the relative humidity. So let's try that on our microbit. So button A is showing our temperature. Oh, sorry. Button A is showing our carbon dioxide in ppm. Button B is showing our temperature. And then button AB is showing our percent relative humidity. Okay, and this is going to work a lot better once our microbit is actually attached to our carbon dioxide and relative humidity sensor. All right, and so then the last thing that we want to do here is we'll add our show string with our name in it. And then we want to be able to take our screenshot and add that into our assignment. So we want to make sure we have that show string at the bottom with our name. And we want to take our screenshot to make sure that we've got the coding in there. And then we want to add that to our assignment. Okay, so that's it for the Minds on 3 coding.